Oh, hello there. It's been a while. Let's talk. So, I have absolutely been completely, mostly absent from both YouTube and from my forge. You may be wondering why, you may not. If you're not, well, I am back and I plan on making many more videos, and I think I have my problems maybe not solved, but well in hand. And you shall expect more from me in the very immediate future. There, end of the video, for those who don't care. For those who do, that would be you. Hello. So, I have been having a lot of problems over the last year. Okay, I don't want to beat around the bush. I've been depressed. I didn't understand what those words meant for the longest time. Kind of wish I still didn't, but oh well. How to explain? I think my wife explained it the best. You know that scene from Pirates of the Caribbean? Barbosa's talking to Miss Swan about how he feels nothing.
The more we came to realize the drink would not satisfy. Food turned to ash in our mouths, and all the pleasurable company in the world could not slake our lust. We accursed men, Miss Turner. For too long I've been parched of thirst and unable to quench it. Too long I've been starving to death and haven't died. I feel nothing. Not the wind on my face, nor the spray of the sea.
Clinically diagnosed now, being properly dealt with now, and far less of a problem now. Now, being the key word. This is not something that I have ever experienced before, nor is it something that I anticipated, but this is a consequence of this surgery that I went away for. I had what was called the GERD, gastro something, whatever, I don't know. In my throat, there's a valve that doesn't close properly, so they blew me up like a balloon, went in orthoscopically, sewed that up with some other stuff in there, and long story short, it ensures that I no longer get heartburn, and long-term no longer will get esophageal cancer, which is a essential eventuality with a high probability. So I went as soon as I found out about that, because I was only really interested in getting off medication. But then I learned all of the other things that it can cause. This weak valve at the top of my stomach. I immediately started the ball rolling towards getting it fixed. And eventually we got there, and I went in for my surgery and I got it all fixed. And so I physically recovered. That took a long time, longer than I had anticipated, but one of the unintended consequences of this surgery is the mental havoc that going from 100 miles an hour to 0 for an extended period of time causes. This was not something that I was prepared for. I was trying to make my body and everything as strong as I possibly could going up into this surgery. So I was working out every day, going to the gym, training martial arts all the time, working in my forge as feverishly as I could, doing all the overtime that I could, sleeping as little as possible, and somehow managing to maintain my family life. And I actually really enjoy doing all of that because you get so much done, you get such a feeling of accomplishment. It really spurs you on to continue that momentum forward. Then the surgery came and went very well, and then I was at 0. Full stop. Everything that you're doing that is giving you all of these, what are the neurological chemicals? Dopamine and serotonin. Gives you all the dopamine and serotonin you could ever want to continue to carry yourself up and out and forward and beyond and all of that great stuff. Unfortunately, once you go from 100 miles an hour to 0, your body begins to expect these chemicals. I'm not a neurosurgeon or a doctor or anything like that, so my description of it or my understanding of it could be off. And if that's the case, so be it. Correct me, I am okay with that. But when I went from everything to 0, I then just, I sat. I did absolutely nothing because that's what you have to do in order for your body to heal. I couldn't do anything. Too strenuous of physical activity could have caused everything to get let go, and I could bleed out and die in the matter of a few minutes. So I didn't move because movement meant death. 3 months rolls by unbelievably quickly and unbelievably slowly at the same time. Very strange. I don't recommend it. I started being able to, move again, do stuff again, and then I ran into my first psychological problem. It came to be that every time I would lose my breath, my body would go into this shock state. So I would go for a run. For example, I would go for a run, and a minute or two a few minutes into the run, you start losing your breath. That's fine. I haven't been running in, 3, 4, 5 months, however long it had been at that time. So this is expected. What wasn't expected was the processes that occur, that can and did in my case occur after I lost my breath. So my heart rate would increase dramatically and uncontrollably. You end up with this tingling in the extremities, with this basically feeling that you are going to die. You cannot catch your breath. You will be huffing, and I was huffing and puffing and wheezing and trying to get my breath back, and to no avail. You'll just be out of breath, and your heart rate continues to climb, and you're still huffing and puffing and trying to catch your breath. This was really hard to work through. This took me a while. It was also at the same time that I was experiencing this, that it was I train ninjutsu, and one of the things that we do for ninjutsu at the start of every new year, we try to start the year off well, and in order to do that, we do a series of exercises every single day. It was, I believe, Kihon, which is your basic punching and kicking, that kind of thing, as well as a lot of down-ups, or burpees, most people call them. So I did a lot of burpees, and I did a lot of Kihon, but I couldn't do more than 5 to 10 without stopping, trying to catch my breath unsuccessfully, and then eventually catching my breath, and then trying to do another 5 more, or 10 more, however many of that went on. I did that, and it's probably the only reason why I'm still able to do anything. I was able to break that, and it took me, the entire month. Every day, it would be out of breath. My body's going, "You're dying, you're dying, you're dying, stop doing what you're doing," and I'm going, "No, I'm not." But it doesn't stop the heart rate from going crazy. And one of the things that worked fairly well was to kind of distract yourself. So I would think of five things that I could see, taste, touch, hear, and smell. And you run through those things in your head, and then that kind of takes your attention away from your rapid heartbeat and allows your heart to kind of settle down and kind of allows your body to stop doing whatever it's doing, shooting all the crazy fucking whatever chemicals, and calms yourself down a little bit so that you can do it all over again. It's not a fun process. So I get over this, mostly. And then after that, the depression kind of sets in. Maybe during, I don't know. It's hard to pin it down. It kind of all seems fuzzy. It's hard to talk about. I'm not doing anything right now, but just thinking about it's making me sweat. I'm not over this, but I'm getting over it. It's not easy, but I'm trying. And so this is where I've been for the last little while. The last couple of videos were kind of spur of the moment. I would put on a face and I would try to be happy for the camera kind of thing for you to make these videos, because I love making these videos, and I love forging, and I love everything about everything that I'm doing here. But for some reason, and we understand now the reason being depression, everything that I was doing brought me absolutely no joy. It really only caused dread. Food didn't taste the same. You can't sleep, or you sleep too much. You think everybody thinks the worst of you. You think the worst of yourself. And it's kind of a self-perpetuating downward spiral that finally came to a head. I mean, I knew that there was something not right when it was a night shift. I was working overtime, and I was driving in my machine at work, and I was crying. I was bawling my fucking eyes out, and I have no idea why. I think I was essentially upset that I thought that maybe I was faking all of this nonsense just for attention, but of course I'm not actually talking about it, so how in the world could it be? Anyway, the thought processes that you have while you're depressed are not real. I mean, they're real, but the things that you're thinking aren't real. It's hard to explain and even more painful to talk about. But I first realized something was not right when I was watching the Avengers Endgame, and they were showing, of all people, Thor. And it's Jack Kirby's and Stan Lee's Thor. It's not the Thor from Norse mythology, but I mean, they do a decently good job of trying to recreate as accurately as they can from the stories and from the sagas, and I really appreciate the opportunity to see things like Fenrir, the wolf. Like that was cool. Fights the Hulk. It's pretty sweet. Bites through. That was in Ragnarok. Anyway, but I really like the Marvel universe, and if you haven't seen the movie, Thor is basically depressed. And so while I was watching the movie, and I'm watching Thor, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? All of this stuff is the same kind of crap that's going on with me. Oh my God, I think I'm depressed. And it was kind of from that moment on that, okay, something's got to change here. And that's kind of when I started doing a lot of looking inward and asking outward. And I talked a lot to my wife. She's the most beneficial, the most helpful person in dealing with this by any stretch. She has experience, let's call it that, in this realm as well, and her suffering has helped her limit mine, which is the best possible use of it, I think, that I can think of, for me personally. Whatever. Yeah. So that's kind of where I started realizing that something was not right. I made a post on Facebook kind of talking about this, and everybody was so incredibly understanding and supportive, and so I wasn't expecting that. That's the only reason why I'm kind of making this video, is because there's kind of a great number of people that offered not only support but stories of their own, basically saying that they understand completely what I was going through, and your words of encouragement really really help. Thank you. It's not a plea for more. That's just thanking those who. See, even now I catch myself thinking that I'm just this pathetic waste. I don't know. And I'm trying to like guard myself against those thoughts. It's important to recognize that just because you think it doesn't make it true. I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. Anyway. God, this is rambly and horrible, and I'm sorry, but if you're watching this, you obviously are interested or curious in the very least. So, yeah. Oh, God. Trying to understand what depression feels like when you don't have depression is like trying to smell the color blue when you're not on acid. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It didn't make any sense to me. I may have thought that I kind of understood it. No, not even a tiny little bit. Okay, I think we can basically say that I've gotten out of the way, that where I have been is very, very, very sad. Every time that I would walk into the forge, and I would come in here, and if I would try to make something, well, if that something didn't go exactly as I planned, which is often the case in blacksmithing, I would snap. And I would lose it, and my temper would be gone, and the thing that I was working on would be destroyed, and also some of my tools. You might notice my post vise on the ground. There's a reason that this is on the ground, and it's because I broke it off of the stand when I picked the thing up and threw it across my shop. Hey puppy. Thanks, big guy. The dog is very helpful too. He doesn't understand what's wrong. He just knows that something is wrong. And so when I was at my having a particularly hard moment, the dog comes up and gives you kisses, and he's a very good boy. Thank you, puppy. He's very helpful. Rhiannon's been incredibly helpful too, and my son has been incredibly helpful too. They've all been very, very supportive and very understanding, and we're on our way up, I think, so that's a good thing. Hopefully this will all be over sooner rather than later. In the meantime, I continue the fight. And it is. It is a fight. It's constant battle against your own mind and body. So, this is what I've been doing to fix it. Talking about it is very, very, very helpful and painful, but mostly helpful. So I've been talking about it more, which has been a huge benefit. My sensei gave me a bunch of things to do, meditation, things like this, more training, awesome stuff. Thank you, sensei. I don't know that he watches my videos. I think he's entirely too busy for stuff like that, but thank you nonetheless. I've been going to a therapist as well. That's been very insightful and very helpful. I've been medically altering the chemical structure of my brain with a low dose of medication, and that has been very, very helpful, especially in the very beginning. The medication is something that I intend to go off of very soon. Is something that I intend to go off of as soon as I can, because I don't like being on medication. But I also like not destroying everything when things don't go my way, and I also like all of the positives that the medication brings. And it doesn't make you a zombie or anything like that, but it does make you able to experience joy again, which is kind of a big plus. So for now, low dose of medication, as well as meditation, an exercise regime, and I have decided that for the future, okay, let's talk about the future of this channel. I've told you what's been going on. I've told you what I've been doing to try to combat that. At least some of the things that I've been doing to try to combat that, and they're working, they're having success. So it was kind of like a downward spiral, and then I realized what was going on as the spiral was continuing down, and then I started taking steps to try to fix it, and then the spiral stopped, and then, okay, now you're down here. Well, that's all right, that's better than down there, so we can work with here where we are. Okay, let's try and see what we can do to try to make things better. And everything that I have been doing to try to make things better has stopped the downward spiral, and I think I have begun this slow climb back up. And eventually I'll get back to where I was, which is the goal. Now, let's talk about what's going to be going on with Freeze Forge. I'm not taking any more orders. It's too stressful for me for right now. I've taken a huge amount of time off of work so that what I can do is, this is the last order that I'm filling for a while. This is a Heretic's fork. I'm not gonna film it. I've already got an awesome video out about a Heretic's fork. I don't think I could do it better, and we're just gonna leave that there. So I might put pictures up on Facebook or something, but I won't be doing a video for the making of this Heretic's fork. Once I'm done that Heretic's fork, I'm going to be remodeling the forge. So I've got a few ideas of things that I'm going to be doing, but the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be making some new shelves. If you notice my shelves, they're shelves, they're holding my things up, but they don't look very nice, and I kind of don't like them. So I'm gonna make some new shelves. I'm gonna get some nice rough cut wood, I think, and each shelf is gonna have its own shelving bracket that I'm gonna make. And I think each shelf should have a different kind of bracket. I was thinking about making them all the same, but then on the other hand, this also provides me with an opportunity to make videos for each different kind of shelving bracket, which is kind of cool. I like that idea. And then after every video, I'll have a new shelf, which is gonna be even better. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make some shelves. After I've got my shelves, at least on this wall, made, we're gonna start looking at moving things around a little bit. I like the orientation that I have, the anvil and the forge, that's gonna stay the same. But where my benches are and where all of my tools and everything are, those are all going to change. Those are gonna be kind of optimized, streamlined, and made to look much better. The back wall behind me, I'm thinking about making, the bench isn't gonna be there. It's no longer gonna be my hot bench. I call it my hot bench. The bench isn't gonna be there. The wall itself is going to be for hanging of tools that I wanna hang on. If that makes sense. It's also gonna make a good backdrop. So I'm gonna take the outside of logs like that, so that and put them up there, so it kind of looks like you would see a log cabin or something like that. I think that might be a kind of a cool look. If you have any suggestions, I'm not married to the idea. If you have any suggestions for the back wall, let me know, and I'll consider them. Let's see. Yeah, all my benches are going to be all over on this side here. That shelf, it's going to be gone. I'm going to have plenty of shelving space. I'm going to put some new shelves all the way across there are probably 2 great big shelves, or maybe 4 smaller ones. I don't know, but something along those lines. And then the next thing that I'm going to be doing after I get my forge kind of remodeled and everything put to where I want it, and everything looking a little more, I don't know, blacksmithy, Norse inspired. I'm not sure the word that I'm looking for, but after I make my space look better, then it's going to be on to a new forge. This is a project that I have been dying to do, but I've had no time because I've been busy with orders and then depression and all that kind of stuff after the fact. But it's something that I've been wanting to do for a great long time, and I'm going to be making myself a ribbon burner forge, and I intend to get the burner itself from and the style and all that kind of stuff. I'm basically taking from the Essential Craftsman, who is a very good YouTuber. If you don't know him, go and check him out. He has an excellent forge, and I want something like that. So that's going to be the next project. I'm also going to be, once I get that forge made, I'm going to be making a sword. I've wanted to make a sword for a great long time, and so it's sword time. But it's not going to be any sword, just any sword. This is going to be a sword that it's going to be, first of all, you won't be able to tell it's going to be a sword. I'm going to have it sheathed in a stick, so it's going to look like a walking stick. I know this isn't technically legal in Canada. Fuck off. So it's going to be a walking stick sword, lightsaber kind of thing. That's kind of the area that I'm going in. You know, the whole Jedi Sith create your own lightsaber thing. Did I mention I was a nerd? So I'm going to make my own lightsaber. That's the intention after the new forge. Be my new walking stick / lightsaber sword. And I've got pretty much exactly what I want to make. I have it all planned out. I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. It's going to be awesome, I hope. Well, I think that's going to be enough for right now. That is what I have been going through, and that is why I've been absent, and that is what I plan to do in future. Yeah, so I'm going to end this video here now, I think, and I'm going to get to work making this Heretic's fork and one more. And once these Heretic's forks have been completed, it'll be on to shelving, and we're going to make some shelving brackets and put some shelves up. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to make, at the very least, sets of shelving brackets, and each one should be a different one. If you have ideas, there are plenty of awesome ideas from other people who have made other shelving brackets. I've got the first one. I know exactly what I want to make, but if you have any suggestions, you can send me a picture through email, freezeforge@gmail.com, or you can contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/freezeforge, and you can do that there. Oh, one more thing. Merchandise. There have been a number of people who have simply stated that I need to get some merchandise going, and I agree with you. I think I figured out how to do that, and I should have that up soon. I'm going to be working on that. So that's coming. I think I've mentioned that once before a while ago, but it kind of just fell by the wayside. So merchandise is going to be coming. Patreon still exists. I really hate the political BS that's going on with Patreon and their deplatforming of people who express opinions that they don't agree with. I'm a big advocate of free speech, and so I kind of want to get away from or provide an alternative to Patreon. Patreon works very well. It's an excellent product. The people that run it, I'm not in a financial stance to take a stance against, but I can provide other options for those of you who would like to support the channel but don't want anything to do with Patreon. I understand. So that's why the merch is coming out. The merchandise, meaning like t-shirts, hoodies, maybe some mugs. Let me know what it is that you would find of interest. Perhaps there's something that, like, I could put the Freeze Forge logo on it. May the Force serve you well will be on there, but in the actual Force, like the equation, because that's actually what I mean when I'm saying Force. It's just kind of a play on words. Yeah. God, I think that's everything. And I made it through the whole thing without crying, which is a really good thing. I've been doing a lot of that, or a lot less of it, very recently, but I've been doing a lot of that. Yeah, it's not manly, but it is what it is. I don't think there's anything. I'm not trying to be manly about it. It just is what it is. I didn't know what was going on, and I couldn't help it. But now that I understand what's going on, and I've been working on it for a little bit, I don't know what I'm trying to say. This sucks, and I'd wish that you don't ever have to deal with it. And if you do, I hope that people are as supportive and understanding for you as they have been for me. Anyway, thank you for watching. And I'm going to get back to hammering, and let's get back to making videos and having fun and making cool shit. Yeah. May the Force serve you well.